Oh, good, because I'm ready also. Because we are live. Jordan, I like it better when you do it. You do it.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the Lonely Marks podcast. I am one of your lonely marks, Jordan Pierce Owens, joined by even lonelier marks. Just kidding, I'm the loneliest, Jacob Barber.
You. I don't know who's the loneliest. I mean, you at least have a cat.
I do. Avery,
I I don't have
very
a
dark in
cat.
here.
Um,
Oh, he's right there.
and Austin, I believe you have a dog.
I have a
We
dog
know
right next
Richie
to
has
me.
dogs.
He's literally right next to me on the couch.
I
So
will
yeah.
say this, Austin. No offense to Richie. I like your dog better because he
Cool.
doesn't
Because
interrupt
Because my
podcasts.
dogs does
That's
not make
why.
noise and start
Yeah, I
fights in
didn't.
the middle of a
I
show.
didn't know you. I forgot you had a dog, which is a good thing.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
See, if
wouldn't
you
know.
want to
You
see,
didn't say
I can
anything.
lift up. See, this is my dog. She just lays there and
Yeah,
sleeps and is
that's the kind of
quiet,
dog I
and then
want.
yeah. She loves
I'm like
naps. It's a good dog.
I'm sorry, sorry. Sorry, I own two dogs with a personality.
No,
But,
that's not a personality.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
don't
like
want a
an
woman with that
excuse.
personality or a dog with that personality, and that's
yeah,
why I'm alone.
they're not actually. Yeah, of course, talk shit about them when they're not here. They're both on their walks.
I'll talk shit to their face. I don't care. Bring them on screen.
Hold on. When do they go for their walks? Usually, is it?
I don't know. It's like whenever the person comes, it's about it's midday here, so she went for like my dog Abby goes on like a dog adventure, like for a couple of hours. So she went about 10, and then my other dog is at daycare. So it's
Hmm.
All right,
quiet.
so because I don't want to do math, how long ago was 10? I'm just
2 hours ago.
okay. That's good to know. Maybe not for any reason in particular.
Yeah, she might come in the middle. We'll see what happens.
Well, if she does, she can give her thoughts on the 2000 edition of Backlash. That's the show we are going to talk about today. I thought it'd be
Nice
fun to just
segue.
kind of do a little retro review. I feel bad calling 2000 a retro review though, because I was like
It's
10. I
22 years
remember.
ago,
I know.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
don't want to admit that I'm getting old.
dude. I feel old.
Yeah.
We still don't want to
Well-
admit that 30 years ago was 1992. That was 30 years ago.
No,
So
it's not
yeah.
bad.
No, we're talking about the 70s when we say 30 years.
Yeah,
ago,
when it's
right?
30 years ago. Yeah.
Oh shoot!
I watched this pay per view when it was live on pay per view. I'm old.
I couldn't
did not
afford it.
watch it live.
I probably listened to it while the squiggly lines ran. Is what I imagine I did.
Yeah.
I probably listened to the results the following day on Monday Night Raw.
I probably rented the videotape from Blockbuster a year after it came out.
From
then
where?
when Blockbuster had a
Block-
sale, when Blockbuster that
You
my
buy 'em.
Blockbuster was closing
Yeah.
down, I just bought it off them.
But yes, Backlash 2000. It featured 9 matches, coming off the heels of WrestleMania 2000, which is probably one of my least favorite WrestleManias.
Yeah,
So-
what an interesting. Yeah, just like one to pick. Yeah, WrestleMania 2000 bad Mania, but decently fun Backlash.
Yeah.
But the whole year was a good build up, and they started even here building up to the next good Mania, WrestleMania 17, one of the best ones ever.
They're
Right.
on the way.
So,
Their
yeah.
trajectory is going up. Feel ya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, I think they did it on purpose. They were like, we're gonna have like the most terrible Mania possible. So next year, when we have this really good Mania, people are gonna be like, oh well, in comparison to 16, 17 is like a masterpiece.
Well, the most terrible Mania they can't have because the most terrible Mania possible is WrestleMania 9. But
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Great
mean where
setting,
Hulk
though.
Hogan won the WWF Championship for the 12th time?
I grew up
It's
really
massive
loving it just
order.
because I was fascinated by the setting, and I hope they would do something like that again one day with the better matches and card.
I just real since we're on it, WrestleMania 9, I don't like Undertaker matches when there's light. Like his entrance just doesn't feel the same.
People would
Yeah.
even say that years later, like at those manias where like the first half is light and second half's dark. Yeah, it sometimes would be weird.
Like the ones I went to in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl, where it was like
Probably.
the sun didn't go down till like 8:30, so you're still
Yeah.
halfway through the show, and
Yeah.
people are doing their entrances when it's like light outside. Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different feel when you have light, which you never have 9 times, especially in WWE.
Mhm.
I remember reading somewhere when they were doing Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker, like they rearranged some things in hopes that it would get darker for The Undertaker's entrance, because The Undertaker hadn't been seen like all that entire build up. It was all Bray, and they were trying to make it darker, and it just like they couldn't postpone it anymore. I'm like, all right, just go.
Wasn't there a match on some pay-per-view where I think it was like the Firefly, like one of those Funhouse matches, whatever. I think it was Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, where like on pay-per-view it was daytime, but because it was pre-taped, they fought at night. And you're like, what the hell?
Well, and they also
Wow.
traveled and drove from the haunted house to the arena to have the finish, and somehow finished in the ring, even though most of the match took place in walking around a haunted house.
Oh
Which
yeah,
is
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
That was some weird shit.
Horror show with
So,
Extreme Rules.
mhm.
Yeah, that one was fun. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Backlash 2000. And yeah, no, this event, we kick it off with a match for the WWF Tag Team Championships between the champions Edge and Christian, taking on X-Pac and Road Dogg, with special guest ring announcer Deborah for some reason.
Why?
They never explained it. and it was
She's
terrible.
not good. Yeah, she is not good.
No.
I don't think she even knew Road Dogg's name. I think she said "Go Jesse James." Like, I think it's that sunny
Anybody wanna
factor,
hear my-
and it's that hot chick factor of
Yeah.
like we want her on
Anybody want to hear
TV,
my impression
we don't got jack
of
shit
Deborah
for her.
doing ring announcing?
Oh,
I'll
please,
reenact
please.
it real quick. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, your next team, the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Edge and Christian.
Well,
She
like,
trails off.
it's a storyline that like she had something like a buddy thing going on with DX, because like the way she just dismissed Edge and Christian was just it's like okay, like she's a
They
heel.
didn't play it up if there was.
But even the other one, it was the same. It was X-Pac and Road Dogg. It's like, why? What is she doing out here?
She was bad.
Why is she the ring announcer?
Deborah appearance. Yeah.
Never explained at all. Like just had Lillian.
Yeah.
And when they
Just-
introduced her, I thought she was gonna do the whole event. Thankfully, it was just that
Oh,
match.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
true.
The
Hey,
Rock.
look-
Ladies and gentlemen, the Triple H, the Rock.
Main event.
The Triple H, yes. Probably what she would have said too.
No, she would have misread and been like, H.
Oh, just pronounced it.
Appa versus Bossman and Buchanan.
Fatal three-way.
Yeah, I guess they just like she was big at the time because she was over because she was really hot, and I guess they just wanted her to do something, but she's not a wrestler. So
That's literally it. I could sense that. Yeah, this is just we want her on TV because she hot.
And she
got
wasn't
the puppies.
she wasn't the lieutenant commissioner yet, right? Like that would come later.
No, she's got nothing going on. I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
she's got
it's
nothing
been-
going
it's
on
been
'cause that was
months.
like
We
a year
haven't seen her
away.
in a while.
Yeah.
I've
Right.
probably since I don't know if it was Jared. What was the last thing she would have done before this? But yeah, we haven't seen her in a minute.
She was managing Jeff Jarrett, and then Jeff Jarrett left for WCW again, and then I don't think she'd been doing anything.
She was just in limbo. Yeah.
Leaving for WCW. That was a good choice in 2000.
About this match, you probably don't realize because definitely they're playing babyface, but I think this is a heel versus heel match. I'm pretty sure Eddie
I couldn't tell because X-Pac and Road Dogg get the pop when they come out. Road Dogg cuts the
Yeah.
babyface suck it promo, but then
everyone's into
everybody's Xbox sucks, and they're booing X-Pac and Road Dogg. But Edge and Christian are not quite over as like baby faces, even though they popped for them beating X-Pac and Road Dogg. So like it was a strange, like I couldn't tell who was supposed. I mean, Edge and Christian were supposed to be playing the baby faces because they get the hot tag, they do the fire, house fire, all that jazz. But like, and they win. But like, it was very strange. It was always strange when Road Dogg and them would be trying to play heel, but they come out and cut the babyface promo and say where they're at and all that stuff, and then have to go into heel mode. It was always very weird.
Yeah, and also I guess like I mean, like Edge and Christian cheat. We'll get into it, but Christian cheated.
Yeah, they cheated.
Yeah,
to win.
no, it is very much. They're both kind of like, I think Edge and Christian are kind of transitioning at this point, but at the same time, like the other ones aren't. Yeah, it was kind of weird just in that recall. A good match, but it was a little bit of like, who exactly am I supposed to want to win this? I don't know.
Well,
Right.
I mean, I will say when they did the finish, when Christian fucking clocks him with the screw side of the bell and puts a hole in his head. Oh my God. Like Christian, when you do a bell shot, you're supposed to spin it around and hit him with the flat wooded portion, not the actual bell. That's how you do that spot. Just a FYI. Oh my God, he clocks him. They show X-Pac. He's got a hole in his head from where the screw on top hit him right in the head. Oh my God. And he's bleeding everywhere, and they quickly cut away from it, and his blood stained the mat the rest of the show. But when they won, and then they did that, and then they got the win, this crowd was jumping up and down, literally, which is something you just don't see anymore. Like for them winning on X-Pac. Like it was ridiculous. Like this crowd was throwing babies in the air when they won this match. It was insane.
It reminded me of when I don't know if you remember this. Like I think it was on a SmackDown. Or maybe it was a show, but it was like Randy Orton accidentally did that to Cody. He fucking hit him with the wrong side of the bell.
Yeah.
And the screen went black and white because like Cody's just fucking just gushing.
Yeah. Ugh. It's like when you do the picture gimmick, like if you hit something with the fake glass of like the picture or whatever, you're supposed to hit them on the other side, like the back side of the thing, and the glass still breaks, but you're not hitting him directly with it. Like I think Christian did get that memo when they said do the bell spot. You're supposed to hit him with the other side. Or either that or at least if you're going to do the bell thing, put your hand over it a little bit, do something. But X-Pac didn't even get his hand up and just got freaking clocked and put a hole in his head. Like it was insane. Yeah, he just took it. Yeah, oh my God. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
But we did get reminded by JR like 4 times throughout the night. Oh, we'll get an update on Xbox. Maybe he's gonna get stitches. So
yeah, he might be dead. I don't know. To this day, I don't think he survived. I think he died. He died of blood loss and trauma to the head. Because we never heard from him again.
I'm gonna fact check that real quick.
Oh, is he still? Sorry, I just thought he might have.
I mean, there's this guy that looks like him named Sean Waltman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that
Is that the 1-2-3 kid? Or was it the Lightning kid?
I mean,
kid. Cannonball Kid.
I think you're thinking of 6-Pac.
I'm thinking of 6. He's had a lot of names.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, no, it was a solid match for what it was. It was Tag Team Wrestling 101. Like I said, the crowd was actually still, they were into it. They more wanted to see, I think, X-Pac lose rather than ENC win, but it's still that's fine. And the crowd went home happy on this one. So yeah, it was. The most memorable thing was X-Pac getting his head split open at the end for the 5 seconds that we saw it on screen. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a decent opener. I think it was one of the better matches on the card, and I enjoyed it for the most part, except for that that finish, because it's like, oh wait, have they been heels this whole time? Like you guys are saying, like are they bad guys also?
Yeah.
So.
No, that was cool seeing. Also, cool seeing kind of a younger Edge and Christian. They're both obviously a little more slower and methodical, not in a bad way. So it's kind of cool seeing Edge do like tilt-a-whirl head scissors and just kind of working a different style that obviously he does now. So it's kind of cool seeing that too, a little blast in the past.
Yeah.
JR at one point called Edge and Christian this hot new team, even though they've been in the WWF and wrestling for a year and a half at this point, which is weird. Because they debuted as part of the Brood like in late '98, and this is April of 2000. But he called them this hot new team. I don't know. That was strange to me.
I think later on they play a similar thing for the Hardy Boys, who had actually been in the company since like on and off since the mid '90s. It's interesting. So you don't really get this vibe. Like, I mean, they're good wrestlers, but you don't get the vibe. Oh, these two are going to be future WWE champions, which they ended up being, and it should be one of the better wrestlers of in WWE of all time. You don't get that idea. But yeah, no, it's interesting going back and watching that.
Yeah.
It's also weird seeing Edge in a match that didn't last longer than 10 minutes, but that's more today's
Yeah,
booking than anything.
9:23, 110. Good for you. See, Edge, you can do it.
See, and you know what? Hey, a good hot opener should be under 10 minutes, honestly. I think a good opener should be like no more than 10 minutes. You get the crowd hot, get them going,
That's
quick stuff, quick pace. Yeah, it's a good length for an opener. You get the crowd into it, give them a fun finish, and then, and we get them and running. And they were hot for most of the show, I would say. Like, this crowd was pretty good. So, yeah, crowd was into most of the matches other than one that we'll talk about. But I thought the crowd was pretty great tonight overall. At Washington, D.C., at the MCI Center. Yeah.
Yeah, back when the stands were full of every other person had a sign. And
see, Jacob, it's where you live.
No, wrong Washington.
Oh.
State, not D.C.
Well, it's close where you live.
Yeah, we're in the same country.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Yeah, we're close.
Jordan, do you need help with geography?
I do.
Okay, we'll talk after the show.
Thank you.
All right.
You're closer to where this took place than I am, but
not too bad. It's motto. Then, of course, one of my favorite pet peeves is then they show The Rock, who's just now showing up because wrestlers love to show up to the arena
an hour into the show. Yeah. Why do? Yeah. Oh my God, it's always the weirdest thing. Don't you get paid to be here? Why are you showing up after the show's already started?
We'll get into it, but that happened multiple times in the show. Fucking Eddie Guerrero drove to the ring
from the prom.
Like Eddie, how do you? Yeah, your matches earlier, Eddie. You know the card subject to change, Eddie. Get there on time. Your shit might have been pulled earlier.
Vince said that later in the show. He showed us the program. Card subject to change.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's like, what if you missed your match? Like, you wouldn't get paid? You scheduled a prom the same night as you're going to defend your. Why could you schedule it on a Saturday?
Who scheduled a prom on a Sunday?
On a Sunday, Sunday night prom is weird. Yeah. Anyways, we'll get to that. That's later in the show. Well, we got to talk about two guys' both of their best matches they ever had in the WWF. Scotty 2 Hotty and Dean Malenko is the best match both of them ever had in the WWF ever in their entire WWF career.
But that finish, that DDT of the rope,
holy shit!
That's cool looking, and like no one really does that even still to this day. That's a good looking finisher.
That is a
be pulled off every once in a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 12 minutes, 55 second. I remember, I think it's Dutch, my other podcast partner, was like, check this match out. And like, you almost hear it on paper like years later and go, yeah, like light heavyweight titles very much kind of under the rug sometimes, but this is a fun one, man. They're given time. They're given almost 13 minutes. Every match here seemed pretty smart on their times. And it's a great, cruiserweight, light heavyweight match in this instance. Yeah, man, this is good. Like different styles too. You know what I mean? You had a little bit more methodical Dean, a little bit of not too much high flying. This was really fun.
Yeah, I feel like if Dean Malenko is a case where it's like if only he had charisma, he'd be a huge star. He's one of the best.
He's either has amazing great matches or boring, or they're like incredibly boring matches. Like it depends on who he's with in there. Because he would have these matches with Rey Mysterio or whatever, or Psychosis or Ultimate Dragon, and have these amazing matches because the other guy, he knew how to level the matches and like be the ground guy and do the submissions and put the heat on. But then like he would have a match with Joe Schmo on Monday Night Raw or Sunday Night Heat, and it would be like the most boring shit.
I'm sad
this match was great.
Tag team. We should have gotten the tag team of him and Lance Storm as the entertainers.
Team charisma.
Team charisma.
The uncharismas.
Yeah.
If Christian's Captain Charisma, they're like a few rungs down. They're like,
yeah.
they're demoted.
But I can't stress this enough, though. This match, though, if you watch it, this match was like Wrestling 101. This was like the most basic laid out structure of a match. They should show this match in wrestling school, because this is like, there was literally Scotty got some flash at the beginning, get the crowd into it, Dean Malenko cuts him off, puts some heat on like a specific body part, puts his heat on his leg for a little bit. Scotty has a couple of false hope comebacks. He gets cut off again, then finally gets his big comeback. A couple of falsies here and there, hits the worm, doesn't capitalize on it. Dean Malenko hits the gut, the little gut wrench powerbomb thing, looks great, by the way. And then, they go back and forth and hit the finish. Like it's wrestling 101. Like it's a complete idiot proof, like straight match, but like it was executed so well. Like there's both these guys, like probably best matches, like I said, ever in their whole career. Like maybe not in their whole career. I mean, but like their WWF, like the run.
Yeah. As far as like a solid
time.
singles pay-per-view match. Yeah. That's
this is great.
Another thing I was gonna say this for the European title, but I'll say now so I don't forget. Kudos for them of making like every title kind of seem important tonight. You know what I mean? Like that's something that WWE still struggles with. We had a 2-night Mania, and there was no room for the IC or US. Here's one pay-per-view, and we had a solid light heavyweight, a solid European, a solid IC, and a solid world. Like they all kind of got their just due. So like kudos on that of actually utilizing your titles, making them seem important with good matches, like something they still struggle with to this day. You know what I mean? That's why I don't hate the idea of unifying the titles, because it's like, I mean, I don't want, like, I was like, oh, both brands need a mid-card title, but at the same time, they don't give a shit about the mid-card titles. And fine, do one mid-card title. I don't care anymore. But yeah, they were better with that, I feel like, back in the day with the IC and European, usually both getting their just dues. I'm
also very like traditionals as well, where like I feel like like you can have big matches on Raw and stuff, but like if you're the blow off or the first big match of the feud should be on pay-per-view. Like I get, like, for example, I get why they're doing Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville because it's a hometown, but that should be a Backlash match, like Backlash. It's this kind of
I'm iffy on that because you still have to pull some bangers for the TV. You see that with AEW now, they do a lot of bangers on TV, but some stuff, especially if you've built it up too. Like there was a little bit of already a story they're building.
Yeah. So I don't know. The title definitely felt important, and I guess.
And a year from now, when they're in the middle of the invasion, a year from now in the summer, and they add all the WCW titles, and there's literally like 14 belts running around, and the titles mean absolutely nothing anymore, and they were all changing hands on every other Raw and SmackDown, like it completely got obliterated. But here
I have it on the background. Pat Patterson just took a nice chair shot to the head. I forgot about that.
In the main event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He always did. He always just stuck his head out for Steve Austin.
No, good for him. I'm like, oh goddamn, they would never let that happen now with anyone that age. Anyone, essentially.
Any nitpick I might have had in this match, but like it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like Scotty hits the worm, and I feel like it didn't really affect Dean Malenko all that much. He got right back up.
It never does. The person just rolls away.
It's move. It's entertaining.
It's a chop to the chest.
At the end of the day, it's a dumb. And plus, they have like forever to like kind of like rest up while he fucking dances, and then it's one chop. Like it shouldn't hurt you.
I guess so. But it has finished matches before. So.
Well, he always does it with a guy laying right near the rope. So if I was the guy getting hit with it, just put your damn foot on the rope. Just put your foot on the rope.
Put your hand.
Yeah, right. Just grab the rope. You're right there. He'll never win. I think he beat it. I saw him beat it with somebody one time, but it was like he beat, whoever, Funaki or something. I mean, he beat like a nobody. He's never won like a big match with it or anything. It's just a move. So and then he always got hit with it. So
a win over Funaki's pretty big indeed.
Yeah, he's
SmackDown's number one announcer. I know.
Funaki also had a pretty it's weird how long the reign was with the cruiserweight title. I feel like he held it for a while. Yeah. Anyway, but this match.
Yeah, Scotty Too Hotty and Dean Malenko. I never thought that I would say on the card that features Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit or The Rock versus Triple H that a match featuring Scotty Too Hotty would be my favorite match on the card. But this one's great. It's really good. I think, Austin, you nailed it. Just in how the match was laid out. And Jordan, you were right about them making the titles feel important. I think the only title they didn't make feel as important around this time is the WWF Championship, because between the years 1999 and 2000, it changed hand 16 times.
Too flip floppy. Yeah, always in the main event, but very flip floppy.
Yeah. I think we really got to thank for for Dean Malenko and Scotty Hardy is the late Grandmaster Sexy being injured because they probably wouldn't do it if done a singles run with Scotty Hardy had Grandmaster Sexy in around.
Thanks for injuries.
Haha.
It's a weird thing to say.
Well, hey, you know what was a match that wasn't as good as that? In the APA versus Bossman and Bull Buchanan. That match was not as good.
Over at 740.
Is this the match you're talking about which had no heat whatsoever? The crowd didn't give a shit.
Oh my god, yeah. The crowd did not give a shit about this match. But it's because these guys tried to go out and like have a tag team like traditional match. And it's like these guys should have just been like having a brawl. Like should have just been like having this would have been better as it's set in a bar. Like they should have just had these guys fighting in a bar.
They almost say that on commentary at one point. They kind of go like, "Oh, I kind of thought this was gonna be more of a brawl. Oh, we'll get there."
And they're just doing moves, you know. It's like, and don't get me wrong, I always kind of liked Bull Buchanan because he's the 6'7" giant dude, and he's doing like he did that one spot where he like rolled over Bradshaw's back and did like a somersault and landed. It was awesome. Like he had this like amazing agility, and he's doing top rope leg drops and top rope scissor kicks, and he's all over the place. Like he's great. Like he was trying, but he's paired with Boss Man, who like again I like Ray Traylor overall, but like this later run where he was just would have the most boring matches, and I like the Acolytes as well, but I like them best when they're just beating the crap out of people and not trying to have like a match where Bradshaw is getting the hot tag from Babyface in peril of Farouk Ron Simmons. It's just weird.
I can understand though from a booking aspect, like why they did what they had to do, because you're coming off kind of two hotter matches and you're about to have a crazy ass hardcore match. So this was kind of the cool down point in a card where it's like you're not gonna have a big pure six sprawl when you're about to have a 6-way hardcore match that's fucking up with the hooks and doing all crazy stuff. So they had a slower pace. I didn't think it was that bad. It's definitely a slower pace between these four. But this was definitely like the kind of like I call it a roller coaster ride with cards. Like this was we got to go down a little bit, so we go back down. Coming up here in a minute.
This just felt like a match you would have on Monday Night Raw that would go like 3 or 4 minutes. Just whatever. That's what should have been.
On a 9-match card, like this is the match you could have cut. It felt like filler just to have it to a degree, but you didn't need to really have it.
It felt like a match you could put on Heat before the show.
Yes. Yeah, this would have been a fine pre-show match. And we already had 3 tag team matches on the show, which I felt like was a little excessive, but they did have a pretty deep tag team roster around this time. You could have had the other. You could have just had the other 2. You could have the other 2, and this one could have been on Heat. Yeah, if you'd had this one on Heat as like the lead in, it would have been fine.
And does everyone know who Bull Buchanan's son is?
Yeah, he's got a son in NXT, right? What's his name?
It's Brooks Jensen. The dude teaming up with Josh Briggs. They're just like good old country boys.
And I'm guessing they don't mention that at all, do they?
I feel maybe once they've said he's a straight edge, second generation. I feel maybe
they make you do research. They don't just tell you, hey, he's the son of Bull Buchanan, who was like an Attitude Era star. It's like no, they go like, oh, he's a second generation WWE superstar, and they make you do the research instead of just fucking telling you. It's like they didn't tell you that what's his name was Rick Steiner's son. You could have just said he's Rick Steiner's son, like Braun Breaker. You just said that. Like, don't make me work. Just tell me.
I wonder if there's young fans that were like, why did they kidnap that old Steiner guy? Why would Braun care about him?
That's like Von Wagner is a second generation guy, but I had to go look up. His dad is on the Beverly Brothers.
Yeah, the Beverly Brothers kid. Right. No, right. But like, why would you just say that? Just say it.
I mean, I can see hiding that more than Bull, but like Bull, you can say like he's the son of a former tag team champion, Bull Buchanan. Like Bull's done some shit at least.
Bull's still working. Yeah. I still see him on random Georgia cards. He's still working.
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah, I did a show with Brooks. I knew that kid was gonna probably go somewhere. He was doing stuff with WWN down here in Florida.
Did you pay him $50?
That's off the air, Jacob. When I say things like that, I wasn't the booker of that show. I just did commentary. He was Ben Buchanan.
No, you gave him a handshake and a hot dog. thanks for we'll get you next time, buddy.
But honestly, that's probably what he got paid for that show. Actually, no, he might have paid it. That might have been a showcase. What do you call it? Like a tryout thing. So he might have paid. Actually, I don't even know.
Well. Yeah, no, you mentioned there's 3 tag team matches on this card, and you know what happens in every single tag team match?
Tags.
You know, well, yeah, but the
Pinfall
baby
attempt?
faces, they're gonna tag. Oh, but the referee didn't see it.
Every
Oh, they did
That
like
happens
3. They did like 2 of the 3
every
matches. They did
single
that.
match.
Yeah,
No,
that
they
was
did
bad.
it in
That was
every
bad.
single match. And you know what
Did
happens?
they? Oh my God.
Later, and you know what happens 2 minutes later in each of those matches? The heels just switch places, and the referee doesn't say anything. Like, at
Yeah,
least
that
be
bugs me as a
consistent.
ref.
Like, oh my goodness.
Or only do that spot in one of the 3 matches. Like you can do
Right.
that spot
Yeah.
once on the show, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
where
You
I'm
know what else there was
surprised,
a lot of?
Patience didn't talk,
There was
yeah.
4 superplexes tonight too. It was 4 superplexes.
Yeah, I did notice that.
It was
Yeah.
overused tonight. Way overused tonight.
It's a
Yeah.
super kind of that.
It's like the
Yeah. Oh, I counted something for the next match too. I'll let you know in a second. I counted something during the hardcore match.
false finishes.
No, I counted how many pin breakups there were. I literally
Yeah,
counted.
that's what it is. Yeah, like, I feel like in hardcore matches and even like 24/7, just like automatically people forget how to kick out and they have to get fucking safe. That's like you can't just have someone.
Yeah,
kick out.
and the 24/7 rules. If you rolled up, you're automatically gonna lose
Yeah.
unless someone stops you.
Well, I guess let's get into it. So this match, this hardcore 6-way match, I've seen this match way more times than I probably care to admit because it was fully on that hardcore DVD that I talked about that I had, that WWF hardcore thing. This whole match is on there, so I've seen this match like a dozen times. So what I did was when I was watching it this time, just to keep myself entertained, I literally counted the amount of times there was a pin breakup or a pin escape or whatever you want to call it. You know, the pin was broken. And there was a grand total. You guys ready for this? I counted. I did not just make up a number. 32 pin breakups in this match. 32. And even JR at one
Let's
point is
play a
like, and
triple
yes,
game.
another breakup. And we've seen a lot of that tonight. And like just there, you know, when somebody just kicks somebody or tackles somebody or whatever. Oh my God. And it was weird because it was a 6-way, but you can only win by pinning Crash or Crash pinning somebody. That was strange.
Yeah, that
Like,
was so weird.
I don't understand that.
I was unnecessary. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
but yeah,
weird,
so,
weird
like,
rule they tried out.
you didn't need to like you know someone that does just a random like vertical suplex that doesn't need a pin breakout. The person will kick out of it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah,
Apparently
just
not.
do the moves. Yeah.
Yes, so Crash Holly defeated Hardcore Holly, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Perry Saturn, and Taz in 12:20. I like that they had a little bit of backstage segments for this, you know, kind of hyping up the match. I love that they used the hooks. I've always wanted somebody to use those hooks, so I'm glad they used those. I kind of like this to a degree. This was fun, chaotic, dumb fun. A little more control to the Mania one because there's less people. So yeah, a little bit more control than all the bumfuckery going on in that Mania the month before. And yeah, it's a lot of just Crash getting his ass kicked and the epitome of the hardcore title right now.
It's interesting too that the hook spot that the hooks that Matt Hardy did the dive, not Jeff. So it's you forget that Matt Hardy could do.
Yeah, Jeff did the swinging Hurricane Rana, you know, tilt-a-whirl thing off the thing. That was fun. Saturn picked up somebody a Crash and did like a front face buster, you know, front suplex onto the hooks and broke it. That was fun. Crowd was like popping for that. The match kind of peaks with that. And then there's kind of a lull for a little while where everybody's just doing moves on Crash until they finally brought the ladder in and kind of woke the crowd up a little bit. And JR said the ladder got it. Just going back real quick to you said there's some vignettes. I did appreciate Crash Holly polishing his hardcore belt, polishing the garbage belt. That was cool to me. They like to him and he's polishing up the 2 gold pieces on the hardcore belt. I thought that was funny. But yeah, like anyways, yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's literally just them just killing Crash for 10 minutes, you know, just hitting him with Falcon arrows and hitting him with suplexes and hitting him with stuff and like it's just a bunch of stuff. And then until the Hardys bring a ladder in and start doing ladder spots, and it kind of picks up a little bit. But yeah, Crash won after Taz got hit with a stop sign, right? Like that was, you know, one of those things. And Taz, oh my God, 4 months after he debuts at the Royal Rumble, it was Kurt Angle. He's just a dude in a 6-man hardcore match, man. Oh my God, how the mighty have fallen. And it's a good thing about a year from now he's doing commentary on SmackDown because, oh my God, he needed that because he's just another dude, not just another victim. He's just another mid-card guy.
Just another mid-card.
Yeah.
It happened super quick for him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A few takeaways from it, like I think Perry Saturn's super underrated. I think he was good in this match, and he's good in most matches. He just I don't know. It's
him doing an abdominal stretch in the middle of the hardcore match. That was fun.
Except for that. I feel like I forgot that like they always refer to Crash Holly for a while as Elroy, like Elroy Jetson, because he kind of
The Houdini of hardcore as well. He's the Houdini of hardcore.
It was obvious to me, like just watching that, like out of all the people in the ring, like Taz didn't do a lot. So I think he was sort of winding, I don't know if he was hurting or sort of winding down, maybe looking at kind of, winding down at that point, even though he's not that old at this point. But like, yeah, he did, like out of everybody, he probably did the least. And Crash Holly is also a super underrated wrestler. Like he does these like hardcore matches, but he's a good worker. It's R.I.P. Crash Holly, but he was a really good worker, and I thought he had more of a ceiling than he's given.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you think of this hardcore cluster F, the 6-man?
I didn't care for it. If I'm being honest, I didn't care for it.
I figured
It was I don't mind hardcore matches, but this one it just felt like it was like
if we could substitute the 2001 hardcore match from Backlash 2001 into this show, it would be amazing because that Raven and Rhino had the best hardcore title match ever on the next year.
Great. Like
awesome.
Rhino Gold's a shopping cart. Rhino Gold's a shopping cart.
Dude, the crowd is blowing up for that match. That match is awesome. It's one of my favorite hardcore title matches ever. That match is great. If we could have subbed that one into this one, it'd be make this card even better. But
tune in next week when we review Backlash 01.
not a horrible idea, but
Jacob's like, I quit this podcast.
No.
Jacob's like, oh my god, I quit.
One might be. It might be better than this show. No, this starting with the last match. I think the middle of the card, like for me personally, there was nothing memorable.
I can feel that. Yeah, the middle definitely, like I said, takes that dip.
I mean, this match. I only remember this match because it was weapon, move, pin, breakup for 12 minutes.
Pretty much.
So
12-20.
And then Crash wins after doing nothing the entire match. Like
he's the Houdini of hardcore. He always got beat up and he still pinned and ran away.
I feel that was Crash's whole shtick back then. He didn't really do that. He would find his way to win, and then But I miss those 24/7 things. Like I mean, not 24/7 hardcore things, but like the 24/7. There was like one where he defended it against the headbangers at a playground. That was funny.
Yeah.
I remember Gerald Briscoe pinning Crash Holly when he was asleep. That's funny.
And doing the silent celebration.
And then they knock something over.
They slam the door or something, and he wakes up. Oh shit! Yeah. That stuff is great.
But the 24/7 title could be something like that, but it's just roll up pin. It's like roll up pin. I like the fact that the hardcore title, as well as like the 24/7 rule, you also have proper matches within it. Like you could do that with the 24/7 title, as well. Just have like a proper multi-man person kind of crazy thing, but then also employ the 24/7 rule. So
come on,
I used to miss the
between Reggie and R-Truth.
No. But they used to do stuff where, I remember Chris Jericho won the hardcore title one time, and he won it, and I had forgotten he won it. And then as he's going up the rampway, he turns around, and Rhino speared him on the ramp and pinned him, on the ramp, right after the match, and won the title. I missed stuff like that. That was always fun. You had to be on your guard all the time, and, anything could happen. I always thought that was great.
And also,
I enjoyed stuff like that.
And also, unlike the 24/7 title, at least the hardcore title, it was positioned but it's like everybody wanted it. Kane's a former hardcore champion, Big Show's former hardcore champion,
Kurt Angle.
At least you had your skits and you actually wrapped a real match around it sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The matches 9 times out of 10 for the damn 24/7 title are a minute and a half. Nothings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. It made me kind of pine for yesteryear. I think this is I miss it. I miss this time. It's wacky, not for everybody, but I loved it. It was a good part of the editing.
Yeah, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I am surprised that 3 years later, the 24/7 title is still actually a thing.
I did think they were going to give up on it by now, but
The hardcore title Blu-ray that's out there that I have has like literally almost every hardcore title match from like the 27-4-7 era on it, like in a row. Like if you love that stuff, it's like one after another, and it's
cool.
from like early 2000 to like mid 2001. It's pretty fun. Like it's a breezy watch.
So here's a sad fact for you. I'm looking it up right now in Cage Match. In the year 2021, which means we've gone 4 months already in 2022, the only 24/7 title match to go over 5 minutes was on Main Event. An entire year. That's the only time the main event title, I'm sorry, the main event title, the 24/7 title was actually given a real match, was because they did it on Main Event one time randomly. Everything else is a minute to seconds.
Don't say main event title. Don't give them any ideas.
I mean, no one would watch it, so how do you know it would even really exist? So,
and sometimes it changed hands without even a match. Didn't Ted DiBiase buy it one time from somebody?
He bought it one time, yeah.
He bought it half the time, yeah, it's a roll up, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Anyways,
I will give them
we'll
credit.
move on from the hardcore
in the
title.
year 2020, 3 times it had more than a 5-minute match. 3 times in 2020.
Whoa.
Because there's that weird time where what was it? I guess Riddick Moss of Madcap now actually tried making a thing out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, one of them was main event though again. Shit. So twice on main television. All right, moving on.
Anyways,
And one of them was a kickoff. So once on Raw.
Yep.
You know what match didn't last longer than 5 minutes?
What's that?
Big Show and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
This happened. Kurt Angle essentially got squashed.
It's
240.
It's interesting because I think when people think of Kurt Angle, they think, oh, like, when he got in, he came to WWE, like they were really high on him and they strapped their up to him, and but there was a couple of months there where they clearly cooled off on him, and this was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, a month earlier he had the European and the Intercontinental Championship.
It is a good reminder that, like, even looking back at this, you can go like, oh, okay, so they do cool down, or like, maybe they're testing people, who knows, however you want to put it, but like, it is an interesting, like, oh wow, yeah, here he is, you know what I mean, he's only been around, even he's not even at a full year at this point, and he's
but he wins the title in November, like in about 6 months from now,
and he's world champ. He's world champ.
Title. He's world champ, so I mean,
year's over.
It didn't kill him. Yeah,
not at all. I enjoyed Big Show's bald cap, or they actually made the top of it where he has no hair. Nice little dig on Hogan there. They love this kind of gimmick. I remember, what was it? Charlie Haas did this gimmick. A couple people have tried this gimmick. Stand out. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that was the third one there. Yeah. So I'm sure Riddick Moss or somebody will adapt this gimmick at some point too.
I like
Madcap. His name is Madcap.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be when he. It'll be the Madster as Hogan.
I like the little dig. I think JR said, "Oh, this is the most people have cheered for Hogan in years."
Yeah, and of course they do also have the little dig of
face in WCW before.
Angle does straight up kick out of the leg drop, at least early on. That's the other little make sure.
Well, around this same time was when Vince Russo was suing, or Hulk Hogan was suing Vince Russo for him calling a big bald son of a bitch in WCW at Bash of the Beach. So this is around the time where he was whining about that. But yeah, for real. But yeah, we should say Big Show came out as Hulk Hogan. It was when he was kind of doing the different gimmick thing. He actually he sounded a lot like Hogan in his promo. I'll give him that. Yeah, the crowd was eating it up. So
spot on, bro.
Spot on.
You close your eyes and you just send audio. No one's gonna even second guess that's not Hogan.
Good stuff.
I thought the stuff. Yeah, but I thought the stuff before the match was better than the actual match itself.
This could have been a Raw. This could have been saved for the next night.
Yeah.
Keep chatting. Let's get that.
You know what was the best part of this match? When Big Show won and they played his aggression music. That song rocks. That song is so great. That rap theme he had, it was awesome. I listened to it like 5 times in the car today. It was great.
Yeah, it was weird seeing Kurt Angle, one of the best wrestlers ever, get squashed, essentially. Like, the world champion in 6 months.
Mhm.
Like I said earlier, the Intercontinental and European champion, like a month earlier. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And then I don't know what Big Show did after this, but
He was he's not far off from getting. I mean, he just kind of floundered around the mid card for a little while. He kind of got a little more prominence during the Alliance like invasion stuff a little bit. He was kind of a bigger player, but then about 6 months after that, he's down in Ohio Wrestling trying to lose weight. So he's not far away from that.
Are you? I know you're sorry. Yeah, I know you're talking about like big shows, like
Mhm.
like the thing. Yeah, I think it's the same people. See Murder who does the Wolfpack. The See Murder does.
Well, the Big Show one was Mac 10 of West Side Connection, who I'm a big fan of actually. And C Murder did somebody else. I was listening to the album in the car earlier today because the album itself is not great. The only two really good ones are Big Show's theme and the Run DMC DX theme is really good too.
Yeah.
That X-Pac and them came out too. That was good. And the rest of them are not great. Even Godfather's Ice-T one is not the greatest. I kind of prefer his original music. But I thought the Big Show music was great.
I remember like a month before Ice-T was at WrestleMania, and he's just like, they bring out D'Lo Brown and Godfather of the Ring, and he yells out, "Grab your bitches!"
Oops.
But yeah, I would say, I remember sets for pay-per-views that makes them feel special, and yeah, the set for Backlash was pretty damn good. But yeah, I don't know. There's not much to say, but yeah, that I think that's the only album I didn't have. I know, and it didn't Snoop Dogg do an Austin one. I think Snoop Dogg does it, the old one, which is not great. But I've heard it. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. Trying to we'll just make it on do a rap thing, but yeah, no one really kept the music. Like I don't think Big Show only really had that music for about a couple of months. Like he goes back to OVW to lose weight, and they weren't happy with his. I don't know. And then he just comes back to normal Big Show music, which actually I'm not a fan of. It's fine.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. We had another tag team match, TNA versus the Dudleys. And oddly enough, before the TNA match, we saw Billy Corgan in the front row, future owner of TNA.
That was quite fitting. I'm like, Billy Corgan.
And then I got reminded that this was the time that around the time Trish Stratus did the table promos, which were legit the probably hottest thing WWF ever produced in the history
that's the only
of
note
WWF.
I have is that Trish has a tables fetish, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. They did it for like 4 weeks where she was cutting these pre-tapes, just wearing various amounts of lingerie, and it was the greatest thing in the history of Raw. So, good stuff.
By the way, I have 2001 in the background now. 1 year later, the Dudleys still fighting Albert, but now in X Factor.
Just with Uncle Cracker music. It's the same match.
I know you hate.
I love Albert. I love Albert. I'm the biggest Albert fan on the planet. I love Albert. Albert is awesome. I could watch Albert all day. I love his intensity. I love all the noises he makes. He's great.
Go watch the rom-com movie he made.
Was it like Dog Groomer or something?
Yeah.
I think TNA in general were a really underrated tag team. I'm surprised they didn't have a run for the tag titles. They never actually got a run for the tag titles. It's crazy because they're really cool, and I think that the thing with Trish worked, but they didn't.
Didn't they hold it at least once or twice? But I mean, they never really had like a long run. But I'm pretty sure they had it. I thought they did at some point. I could have sworn they did.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I can check that.
I'll look it up. I'll check that. But yeah, I love Albert. Test and Albert's a great tag team, and then with Trish, like they really got over pretty quickly. And I mean, this was another kind of straight up Dudley formula match, just with Trish interfering every now and then. But the whole gimmick of the match was that Trish, Bubba wants to put her through a table, but she always kind of interrupts it by kissing him or doing something or whatever. And the crowd goes crazy around this time when you commit violence against women. Yay!
Yeah, what a
Yay!
fun time,
women. For the women. Yeah. What an interesting time in wrestling.
Even in video packages, you see that recently he's done it to Lita, he's done it to Moolah, he's done it.
He did it to he did it to like a random EMT one time chick or whatever. Yeah, it's just everybody, and it's like, yay, kill the women.
Yeah, fuck her for helping people. Yeah, put her
Yeah, get them. How dare you help and try to help somebody? Yeah, but anyways, yeah, that was the story of the match. But crowd was into it. It is what it is. When they pulled the table out, they were there. Yeah, and the segment literally ends with him going, "I'll get you, you little bitch," or "I got you, you little bitch," and it's like, yay! He got her. He got her. Yay!
But
yeah, but Bubba, you might have killed her.
Yeah, he might have killed her. Yay!
Yeah, like, oh, she has to be stretched out to the back. Yay! And you can tell the crowd's gonna react by like, oh, yeah, oh, shit, oh. But yeah,
Get canceled for that nowadays.
I feel like this match was like an angle. It was just an angle. Like it was a match, but like I don't think people cared about that. It was just like, no, we know what might happen at the end, so it's waiting for that. It's like the match is just filler. Lead up.
I do enjoy that. You see, Michael Cole's been putting in the work though for a long time. Still just a backstage interviewer. It's been over 2 years, but still putting that work, trying to get on that commentary, the main commentary desk.
Michael Cole with blonde tips in his hair.
Oh yeah,
frosted tips. Yeah, this was frosted tip Michael Cole,
baby.
In 2000. Yeah. Oh yeah. But he wasn't as bad back then because he was just kind of standard announcer when he was on there. But and recently, I would say in the last 5-10 years, if I had to, I would usually either switch to the Spanish or Japanese commentary to make the show better. So I wouldn't have to listen to Michael Cole, but he was at least tolerable, I thought, on WrestleMania with Pat McAfee, because again, like you said, Pat McAfee's kind of helped him get a little better, I think, or as far as like change his style a little bit. So but yeah, man, when it was like Michael Cole and Corey Graves and was it like just it's just the worst, just the worst, the worst commentary ever.
Like I kind of understand for it is difficult having Vince in your ear all the time, but like Vince is in JR's ear all the time, and he made it work. He was still good. Yeah. Came across as a great commentator. He made it work. But yeah, I don't know. Like whereas like Michael Cole sounds like a robot. It's like, oh yeah. Or it's like you're being the corporate guy. I don't believe any of these things are your opinions.
It's funny that way because I think Michael Cole's gotten better. Like I really enjoy him as a commentator now. Whereas JR nowadays, I'm like,
JR's not good.
Maybe
JR should retire. It should just be Shivani and Excalibur.
Honestly. I will say though, people always make fun of JR for screwing up names. He does it tonight. He did it tonight in this pay-per-view. He goes, look at Chaz, Saturn, whoever.
And
he's been doing it for a long time, guys.
And he always screwed up Benoit and Jericho, which he did tonight as well.
Well, and he also always calls that back the assisted back suplex of the WWE. He always used to call that a 3D, which annoyed me because that wasn't 3D. That was just like an assisted, suplex neck breaker thing, and it's not 3. And then he goes, "Oh, there's also the 3D" when they do it later in the match. I'm just, no, that wasn't the 3D earlier.
3D is
no one kicks out of
that. Yeah, the 3D is the 3D. That's not the 3D.
Then he also got I guess it's not as like egregious because it technically is, but like when after this match when they attack, I think he gave Test a cutter or whatever, and he's like, oh, neck breaker. I'm like, oh, I guess it is. I guess.
He used to do that a lot. Oh god, a neck breaker. Yeah. We already talked about the showster.
Look, I don't know what else to say about it, man.
Shout out to the current Wrestling with Trivia heavyweight champion of the world, Chris Cass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried to dethrone him, but he only beat me by double my score. Anyway,
I almost beat him.
I failed. Richie failed. We've all failed.
I almost beat him for the CWT title, but no, yes, I almost cost JB3 about $100 trying to send the belt here because it was like 2 seconds off. That was 2 seconds off.
Right.
Up next, we got the European title on the line. Eddie Guerrero coming off of prom, defeating S.A. Rios.
Showing up 2 hours late to the show for his match that's in 30 seconds.
8 minutes and 38 seconds here.
And he's like, "Oh,
wrestling in his tuxedo pants."
Yeah, he's like, "I'll just drive to the ring." And the ring is like right there. It's like, it's just like, okay.
Love you, Chris. This is good. Kind of like Scotty and Dean. Glad to see Essay actually had a nice singles match on pay-per-view. Another
Was
guy
this
that
his
didn't-
last pay-per-view match?
I'll give
Honestly,
it up real quick, but yeah, he obviously didn't get a lot when he was there. Seeing Rita, what's my mother? Lita and her nice red. That's right. And always nice kind of being reminded of all these pairings. And yeah, it was good. You know what I mean? That nice little kind of quick to the point and some shenanigans, some more unnecessary TNA getting China half naked by the end of it and whatnot. So it's 2000 WWF for sure.
yeah. Yeah, no, dude, Essay was all over the damn place. The Osai moonsault to like on top of the announcer table was awesome. Like he was flipping all over the damn place. Like it reminded me of when Eddie would work Ray. I'm not saying it's as good as those matches, but it kind of reminded me of that where Eddie would kind of ground it a little bit and the other dude would be flying all over the place. And but like Essay was really underrated as far as like how easy he made like all the moonsaults look. Like he just made it look so effortless. Just how quickly he could just do all that stuff, and yeah. But I kind of looked it up too. Yeah, I think this was the last pay-per-view match because then he was on heats and medals and whatever.
August. Despite being with the company until August of 2001, this is his last pay-per-view. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like I don't think they released him right after, but they just stopped using him to the point where I think he just.
No, I just said August 2001.
I think
he killed it on Jacked.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. Yeah, his last it's all jack heat.
metal heat. Yeah, Jack. Yeah.
Dark matches.
Yeah, I think he just got over it and started taking bookings from New Japan. But I think that what already had a brief feud on Heat with Kurt Angle. He also this is fun fact.
His last so released in August. Last Raw was February. With Big Show taking on Kurt Angle and Raven. That's a weird That's a weird tag team match.
What a weird match.
Say that again. Kurt Angle and Raven defeating Big Show and S.A. Rios. And by the way, not even given 2 minutes.
I'm looking this up and I'm just scrolling through. You'll never guess who he faced at a Jacked taping February 26th of 2001.
S.A. Romeo.
It's a current Ring of Honor champion.
Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
I've seen that match.
Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I've seen that match. Samoa Joe. Yeah, I've seen that match. It's online.
AJ. I mean, come on. You got on Jacked and
AJ and the Hurricane.
Hurricane. Low-Key's got a match. Joe and Rios for sure. I've known for years. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Low-Key and SA maybe also. I think Low-Key had a match with
the
SA
Low-Key
Rios.
one. Okay, I knew Low-Key had something. So maybe
Yeah, Low-Key spelled like the Marvel character, not low key.
Also, S.A. Rios had a match with Taka Michinoku on an ECW pay-per-view at CyberSlam.
Yeah.
Welcome to the history of S.A. Rios, the podcast.
He was good. I liked S.A. Rios. He just never really got a shot.
We're talking about next week.
He's good.
Yeah,
the best of S.A.
This was a really good match.
AAA. It was a good match.
His Eddie Guerrero and S.A. Rios. I don't know much about S.A. Rios, so I can't tell you whether this is my favorite matches or not. So, but it's I think it's a really good European title match. I think it's placed properly on the card. Kind of in this these last three matches. I think they kind of build up in quality to get to that main event, and this was a good start after what I think is a very mediocre middle, like those last four matches. I think it really starts to pick back up here. I thought Eddie and China were heels, and then they're getting cheered at the end because China's, half naked in the ring, and Eddie, S.A. Rios attacks him after the matches, gives him a drop kick, and then they leave. Lita's like, let me just strip you naked and then not do anything because I'm scared.
I think the idea was for them to be Eddie and China to be heels. They sort of positioned them, but I think they got over quite well. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. This was some of the best stuff Eddie ever did. This Latino Heat stuff, was some of the best stuff he ever did, especially around this time, because not long after that he he has like in like a car accident and he starts getting into drugs again. Like he kind of disappears for a while. But like all the segments he did with China were actually really good. Like should go back and see a lot of them. But like Eddie's great. Like his character was awesome around this time. Like he was really getting over to where like technically he was a heel and China was kind of a face, so she's kind of trying to turn him straight, but like she doesn't like him cheating and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, like he does it anyways. But yeah, he was great. This whole feud was, or not feud, but the whole relationship angle they did was really good. So
Richie's dogs are back.
Yeah, my dog's back. I remember thinking like because of the chemistry between Eddie and China, I thought if you told me they were an actual couple, I'd believe you. Like they had really good.
They were really good chemistry.
Yeah.
I liked her better with Eddie than I did in DX personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had way more charisma with him.
Oh, you should have more fun. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so we get to our semi-main event: Benoit and Jericho for the IC title. Yeah.
Name redacted versus Chris Jericho.
This is their long anticipated rematch from WCW Fall Brawl 1996. I looked up.
Oh, okay. There you go. 5 years in the making.
Not the greatest finish, but these two, of course, know how to put on a good match. I don't think there's a bad redacted Jericho match out there. And you know what? Even the finish, it just led to them having to face each other again, which is never a bad thing here. No. So, arguably match of the night. I think you said you like Scotty and Malenko, but this one might be for me, although I don't like admitting that.
The only reason, like, I was on board with this match the entire time until that finish. Like, I
feel you. I agree. I'm never a shitty finish pay-per-view fan, so yeah.
I will say, I don't want to, I don't like bringing up the whole Benoit thing when it happened, but like it kind of puts in perspective like his brain injury when there's a spot here. He goes for a toupee, and he misses. He lands right on his fucking head.
on his head.
Yeah.
Like holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, no, a really, really good match. Obviously, yeah, they had better matches later. The main one, I think everyone remembers, is the ladder match they had at Royal Rumble 2001. So they kind of stretched this out for a little while, and then they later tagged up against a lot in that same year against like Stone Cold and Triple H. Kind of went around the horn with them. But yeah, these guys. I mean, they obviously knew each other. They gave them like 15 minutes or something. Like this match went a little bit as well. So
let's see here. Literally 15:02.
Yeah, 15:02. Yeah. So and it felt like they gave him a good time. Crowd was into it. They were really into Jericho this time. Like Jericho was on fire. This was like 2 or 3 weeks after he sort of won the world title for an hour until they took it back an hour later.
Okay.
Yeah, this is around that time frame. This is like literally a couple weeks after he beat but didn't beat Triple H for the title, and they took it back the same night, which that match, the crowd exploded for that. If anybody doesn't remember, go back and watch that. The crowd went bonkers for that. But yeah, then they took it away. So he was on fire around this time. Like he was hot, and he was a babyface for a long time. He didn't turn heel till late 2001, till the Undisputed title. That was like the first time he turned heel. He was a babyface. Babyface for here, babyface, in the Invasion, all that stuff. He's babyface for a long time. Yeah, until he faces The Rock. So yeah.
He didn't start turning heel until he started doing that WCW title feud with The Rock, and then it was like, okay, now we're getting a bit heel as Jericho. But yeah, and there's a reason, he was one of the most over guys in wrestling. But yeah, this match is really good. Like they'll go on to have better ones. Like that ladder match they have at Royal Rumble is one of the best ladder matches of all time, in my opinion. I think that ladder match is fantastic. But it also probably marred by the fact that it has one of the gnarliest chair shots of all time. Like this, where he's flying in the middle of flying in the midair. Jericho just fucking
smacks him, and then he just drops like a damn sack of potatoes right on the floor. It's a great match. Yeah, maybe we'll get to it someday if we review a Royal Rumble pay-per-view. 2000 and 2001 are both good candidates for that. Those are both great pay-per-views, top to bottom. But yeah, like this was a solid match. Yeah, we should say what the finish was. The finish was, they were going back and forth. Didn't Benoit at some point hit him with the belt, but Jericho kicks out, and then the belt's still in the ring, and they do a thing where Jericho's laying. Benoit goes for the headbutt, and Jericho throws the title, or he has the title next to him,
he holds it up.
the title. Yeah, and Benoit headbutts the thing. Tim White sees it, ring the bell, disqualification, crowd it calls shenanigans too. They don't like it either. And then to send the crowd home happy after that, Jericho puts Tim White in the walls of Jericho, which was funny.
I feel like Tim White was really he got a bad deal from Jericho because didn't like in the Hell in a Cell match with him and Triple H, like Tim White got smashed into the Hell in a Cell.
Into the cell, yeah. He always took those bumps
And
like that, yeah, occasionally. And he
And
killed
he-
himself like 15 times in a segment that WWF wants to forget that they ever did with him and Josh Matthews. They had committed suicide.
That's not wise. That's not wise, sir. Yes,
that's not wise. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I think the like it was weird because I think the announcers were confused by this as well because I thought initially too that like he just moved out of the way and the like that should be DQ. He moved out of he didn't actually and so
if a guy lands on a chair that was already in the ring, like is that a DQ because he landed on a chair? Like on the but I didn't catch it the first time. The angle that they had it was from behind Benoit and Jericho, so like I didn't see him holding out the belt, which is why it was confusing. I don't think the crowd picked up on it either, and I think that was trying to get it just didn't get over well as far as like not being very clear as to what they were doing.
Well, that's why
wrong.
Yeah, that's why I liked that JR was confused because I think it kind of he saw what we saw.
Yeah,
and then it doesn't get cleared up until there's a replay, and then so I kind of like that because I think commentators know the finishes.
Heels should get disqualified for doing something intentionally. I think baby faces getting disqualified for using weapons is weird finishes in general. Like if Benoit had used the belt and gotten disqualified because Jericho was about to beat him several times, that'd be one thing. That's like a typical WWE finish. But like Jericho getting disqualified, so like Benoit winning because it's weird. It was just a strange finish.
Not to go back before we go to the main event. There was something I forgot to mention that kind of. It sort of it made you realize, oh yeah, we're in this era. Things are different. When China and Eddie were coming out, there was a sign on like to the left where you could clearly see it said China has a penis, and it's like, yeah, that's different time.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
or just you would always see stuff in the crowd be like so and so is gay. As if that's like just there's it's like an insult to be called gay, which is just weird to go back now. Like it always see something like that. Yeah, just you can tell it's still Attitude Era. Just signs like that.
And she would disprove that years later.
Lawler commentary.
Yeah.
This makes me miss this era of JR because I really enjoy him as a commentator here. And Jerry Lawler, not as much. Maybe
which is why what my favorite era around this time of Jim Ross and Paul Heyman. Fucking great commentary team together a year from now. Like as much as you don't like people don't like the invasion, I watched it all the way through just because Jim Ross and Paul Heyman were a fan freaking tastic commentary team that I wish had lasted longer than 6 months. They were awesome. Paul Heyman was a great color guy and they had great like heel babyface chemistry. Like I thought it was amazing. So I thought that should have lasted way longer. When they brought Jerry Lawler back like the night after the Survivor Series thing, I was like, no, I like JR. Heyman. No, leave him. Let him keep his job. Don't hit the call the rest of Raw.
Well, I feel like it puts it just like Jerry Lawler could commentate because like I could tolerate because like he had good chemistry with JR, but like it's just like but you realize how good that chemistry is when Jerry Lawler's paired with someone else. Like he's filling in for Corey Graves at the moment and he fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
He's just he adds nothing and then tries to kind of shoehorn in like Attitude Era stuff and people have to go no you don't say that.
It was absolutely perfect in 2001 when you had Jim Ross and Paul Heyman on Raw and then on SmackDown you had Michael Cole and Taz, which like had good chemistry together. Like that was when I liked Michael Cole. Was him and Taz were good like together because Taz bounced off him. He was much more loose, just saying whatever. Like that was to me like some of the best era of like the commentary teams they've ever had, like ever.
I think like Pat McAfee, Taz brings out the fun in people. Like one of my best announced combinations at the moment is like, especially on Dark View watches, Excalibur and Taz. They're very funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you sort of sometimes need for the color guy. You need someone who's kind of funny. You can bring up the fun, bring out the personality in your play-by-play guy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Excalibur at first, but he's really grown on me.
I like Excalibur, and I like the fact that he has a mask.
Yeah, that's fun.
The only thing I didn't like about commentary on this night is that every single match we had to get reminded that Stone Cold wasn't there yet. Like, bring it up between the matches. That's fine, but like during the match, like it's a pay-per-view. Let's focus on the match. And
Well, yeah, that's one of those things where you don't need to do that on a pay-per-view. You've already bought the damn pay-per-view. Like I'm already watching the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like you do that on Raw because it's like
either
you
in
tease
or
it throughout the show.
Yeah.
You want them to keep, teasing it throughout the show to keep you watching to see if Stone Cold shows up. But like on a pay-per-view, theoretically, I've already bought the damn pay-per-view. I'm gonna watch the whole show. Like I'm not gonna turn it off halfway through because I don't know if Stone Cold's gonna show up.
Yeah, you shouldn't be
that's
afraid
silly.
of losing my vote, losing my watch. It's done. It's in.
Yeah, I'm already there. You have my money. So yeah, Raw, that's fine to do it throughout the show. Stone Cold's not going to be here. So I'm going, if he shows up at the end, fine. But yeah, like pay-per-view, that's always been weird when you're plugging stuff or you're plugging the company during the pay-per-view. It's like you've already sold me. You already have my money.
That's why I don't like it, but it's way better. Like this is like light compared to like in WCW. Like there'll be matches where they don't even call any of the matches; they're just talking about NWO the whole time.
I hate that. That's a big pet peeve. If they really overlook the match.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest pet peeve, and I don't know why this bothers me so much. Local medical facility. It's not.
I hate it too.
A hospital. Why is it called?
Well, Mr. McMahon has a literal book that he gives to all his commentators of terms you're not supposed to use. You're not supposed to use the word wrestler. You're not supposed to use the word belt. You're supposed to say championship. You're not supposed to use hospital. You're supposed to say medical center or medical facility. He has like all these words that like bug him, and it's very strange. Yeah, you're not supposed to say fans. You're supposed to say universe. It's very strange. That's that whole energy. So it gets worse later. Like it's still like here. Yeah, you hear a little bit of that, but it's not as bad as it is now. Like back then, JR would still say, or guys would still say, "I'm going to get the belt," whatever, get the title, stuff like that, not championship. But it's much more pronounced because everything's so much more scripted. Back then, they got away with more with Vince McMahon and The Rock and Stone Cold being able to get away with just having an outlines of promos and being able to put their own spin on it. Like they got more away with that and interacting with the crowd. Everything's just so cookie cutter, like scripted now that it's just so laid out and written. Stone Cold's talked about like he loved that era because they just let him do whatever. The Austin 316 promo wasn't even scripted. Like he just said that came off the fly, like off his head. He thought about a few things and just did it, and it came out because it wasn't scripted. So
I feel the wrestlers who get over these days on WWE are the ones that like have a big enough position on the card where like, okay, I got a script, I can go off it a little bit, and I won't get, I'm too important for them to get up too much. Like Kevin Owens, I feel like he sort of, but like he can make it work because I don't think he sticks it to the letter. But like if he was like a lower card guy, he might have to. But like, but he can show personality. But it's definitely you can see more sort of. I think Imperial works because like you can see like it doesn't feel as scripted. But yeah, local medical facilities it's always bugged me. But like they add to the ban list all the time. Like the wedding on Raw this week was like a double commitment ceremony or some shit. Just call it a wedding.
Just call it a wedding. Yeah, I mean, weird. Like, what are we doing? The Billy and Chuck commitment ceremony, friendship ceremony, or whatever the hell we're doing? They started that shit like a long time ago. Yeah.
Hey, they can call it whatever they want if it's going to get more R-Truth on the screen because that guy is entertaining.
I mean, we could get into it later if you want, but like the way he the way he kind of like shut down those watch chants was pretty good. Anyway.
I also, just because we're on it, I love how Dana Brooke and Reggie, went through this whole like vow, and then Tamina and Akira Tozawa are just like,
yeah,
same. What he said, yeah.
What he said,
I like that. Yeah,
that's fun.
it was a little more entertaining than I think it had the right to be. I think it's just because of who was involved, though. But anyway, that was not the main event of Backlash. The main event of
and
Backlash.
as a wise man once said, it's time for the main event.
Which saw The Rock take on Triple H for the WWF Championship with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee. Stone Cold supposed to be in the corner of The Rock, Vince McMahon in the corner of Triple H, and called right down the middle. Vince didn't get involved. It was a very fair fight.
Okay, can I just rant about that for a second? Why I hate the heel referee gimmick? Because if you're gonna have a heel referee who's clearly in the corner of one person, then even if the person kicks out, you should keep counting. Just count 3. The match will be over because it's referee's thing. He should fast count immediately. 1, 2, 3. Count them out and walk away with the damn title and just walk away before Stone Cold shows up. This is the stupidest shit. Like, look, and I get it. Like, they're dumb heels. I get it, and they're smart baby faces, dumb heels. But like, that's why the heel referee has always bugged me, because if you're a heel referee, you can count to 3 even if the person kicks out and just say you can count it to 3 and it's over. Or the person can put him in a submission and say he tapped out even if he didn't. That's the point of a heel referee. You should be able to just say the match is over, ring the bell. Like, it's just stupid. Vince McMahon should be interfering from the minute 1. There should be using chairs, using tables, whatever, because obviously as a heel referee, he can just ignore it or look away or just, say I'm not going to disqualify you for that. Low blow all you want to. But instead he's calling it right down the middle. They're having a match, and it's just weird. Like, I've never understood why the heel ref calls it down the middle for like most of the match, but then randomly he would do a fast count. Like, I don't understand. Just randomly in different spots he would do the fast counts instead of the regular counts. Just strange to me. Just my rant about heel refs. I don't like the heel ref thing. It should have just been a regular ref with Vince and all them interfering, in and out, whatever, just doing stuff behind the ref's back, and it would have been fine. Or just make it a no DQ match, whatever, and just have a regular referee.
I would have preferred a no DQ because slightly too much shenanigans for me to love it. I think I've seen better Rock and Triple H's match. Not that this was bad, but it is very much a little bit too much shenanigans for me to love it.
It's classic overbooking, although in this case, the overbooking, at least this overbooking had happy endings that let the crowd go home happy. Rock won. He got the title. Stone Cold Steve Austin came out and beat up everybody. The baby faces triumphed over the heels, and the crowd was, like I said literally earlier, when Stone Cold Steve Austin comes in, lays everybody out, and then Rock hits the spine buster from the people's elbow. People are jumping up and down in their seats. They are tumbling over each other. They are throwing their arms in the air. You don't get reactions like this anymore. You just don't. Like, reactions like this are just only you can get watching older stuff, but the people went absolutely crazy. So I will say the overbooking is fine if the baby faces go home emerge as the victors. When you do that and then they still lose, that's when it deflates the audience. When you do all the shenanigans and the babyface loses.
I just feel like the heel ref, it's distracting too, because you're like concentrating on how will he try to screw Rock over, as opposed to watching the actual match and going appreciating what they're doing in the ring. You're constantly trying to think about so this is where he screws him. Is he he's not gonna count them this time, or is he gonna do a slow count this time? Is he gonna so it's just the shenanigans away. But I think. I mean, we're talking about how annoyed about how, the announcers kept talking about, Austin's not here yet. But, man, I thought they built it well, because, it's one of the biggest Austin, last name I've ever heard. And, probably, one of the top 5 Austin pops of all time.
They've been deprived of him, and they've missed him.
Yeah, because, he had, neck surgery, and, but they went bonkers, and then just the chair shots, it's interesting seeing those in 2022. But I get why.
Dude, seriously, the pop when after Stone Cold lays everybody out, and then they kind of clear everything out. They refocus on the match, and then Rock immediately hits the spine buster for the people's out. Look at the crowd. They are losing their shit when he hits the spine buster, and he hits the people's elbow. He wins. The crowd are falling over themselves. Like I said, they're throwing babies and streamers up in the air. It's ridiculous. They're going nuts, which you just don't see anymore. It's only the stuff you can get in these sort of older shows where the crowd was still super invested in everything, and just just went. It just goes to show the star power of those guys, of Stone Cold, of Rock, of Triple H, McMahon, in their peaks of their careers, these guys that like had the power they had over these crowds was incredible. So I mean, yeah, the match itself was a pretty standard, like you said, Rock versus Triple H match, but the personalities, the charisma, the angles, like and the fact that the baby faces went over made it good. It made it better than it probably should have been. Yes, they had better matches. They had the Iron Man match. They had other matches here and there, whatever. But yeah, so it was still very good.
I thought Jacob.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Speaking of heel refs, you know what else I don't get? Shane McMahon gets rock bottom through a table, right?
That was cool.
And he recovers.
The double rock bottom was awesome. I really like
Why
that spot. Actually, he did it.
Yeah, I like the spot, but he
Why doesn't he call
Why
DQ
doesn't he
when he
fall
wakes
to the
up?
bell?
Why does he DQ? Yeah,
it's like
He
he
should
no
call the bell.
ref does that. No ref does that. They can get attacked, whatever, and then they'll come back and they'll make the count. They won't disqualify whoever put their hands on them and did whatever.
Here's the thing. He could have done. I saw the pettiest thing, but it was awesome. And this is a little bit of side tangent, but it goes to show the proper way to do a heel ref spot. Ric Flair, I remember one time, was a heel ref for some kind of Dudley Boys or like a Bubba Ray Dudley match or some random thing where it was like Bubba versus somebody, and he was the heel ref. And Ric Flair, Bubba punches whoever he was fighting in the face with a closed fist, and Ric Flair goes, "Now don't use the whole closed fist. Open it up." He immediately, in spite, does it again, and Ric Flair immediately disqualified him. I thought that was brilliant because he goes, "I told you," and he disqualified him. So of course he got booed, but he's a heel ref and he disqualified him for not doing what he said. And it was like, so it made the match 30 seconds, but I thought it was a great way to do the heel ref thing. He literally told you what not to do, and he disqualified you immediately for doing that, which is what should a heel ref do. So yeah, he could have disqualified Rock for, I don't know, even though Rock doesn't use closed fist, but he could have done anything and said, "Don't break the hold." Oh, you didn't break the hold, disqualification. It's over. Like you're disqualified, and like I think it would have worked, but yeah, obviously you wouldn't have a main event. I get it. It's like we have to have a match, but it just again that shit bugs me. Yeah, he should have woken up and disqualified him. Like had to ring the bell if the heel was going over. That's what I would have done. So yeah,
it's also one of the few beer celebration moments that doesn't end in a stunner. It's like, oh.
Yeah, no, Rock, and because later on Rock would do a lot of these, and where he'd catch a stunner at the end of it, like especially leading up to WrestleMania. But yeah, he didn't catch a stunner at the end of it. That was odd. I kept waiting for it, but it didn't happen. But they did. I mean, again, like I said, they teased the WrestleMania match almost a year out. He toasts the title, touches the title with the beer, and Rock kind of agrees, and they're already setting up Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 17. So
I like they set up the Rock versus Roman on Young Rock.
Yeah, exact same thing.
I heard they kind of also started setting that up on that new series on Peacock, Evil. Like they kind of reference. I think I read somewhere. I haven't watched it.
So this is the Young Rock moment. Little kid puts in his young self in a headlock, and the little kid literally looks at the camera and goes, "Acknowledge me!" And it freezes and goes, "That's my young cousin Joe. He's done all these accomplishments." And then it goes back out of the narrative, and he goes, "Come on, Dwayne, let's wrestle." And he goes, No, Joe. We got to save that for a big match, like a WrestleMania."
Oh God!
So they set it up on
are they
Young Rock.
teasing?
Excuse me. I'm just gonna go throw up off screen real quick.
And that is the beginning of the Rock versus Roman feud, live on the Young Rock.
Watched by hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah. It does go to show like long-term booking is actually a good thing. Not these days. It'd be nice if you didn't live in these days of like reportedly, the Raw script isn't done in the day of the show. Oh, we're gonna run. So,
No, and they didn't have to. They didn't have to cut a promo. Stone Cold didn't have to get on the mic after the match and go, "Rock, now that you're the champion, I'd like to face you at WrestleMania a year from now." They have a toast. He stares at the title. He toasts the title. Rock nods back. There you go. That's all you got to do to foreshadow it. That's literally it. You didn't have to cut 20-minute promos on Raw. The crowd gets it. We'd like to see, now that Stone Cold's back, we'd like to see him and The Rock have another match. That's all you got to do. And they stretch it out.
I don't want to do like the whole WWE
3 more times.
I don't want to do the whole WWE versus AEW thing, but like they're obviously building an AEW right now. They're building up to CM Punk and Hangman Page. And it's not like they weren't, but they're a bit more subtle than WWE. Like they're not like it wasn't like after a match. CM Punk on the microphone like Hangman Page. It was just like he would do subtle things. Like he did like there was one match he did the Hangman kind of the you know, like the pose, and then like he would occasionally you'd catch him doing that, and then like this week on Dynamite they finally like kind of like met face to face, but it was never like intimated, like he never actually got on the mic, like on the mic going, oh, the Hangman, like this son, you know, it was like a pay-per-view, like that they built it up. Like, yeah, so yeah, just subtlety works. People, I think the problem is like maybe like WWE sometimes just thinks the crowd's dumb and needs to be fed to them. Like, no, you know, like no, I think most of the crowd will get subtlety, they'll get it, and you should be rewarded, and you should be rewarded for paying attention.
Yeah. Just a quick side note before we sign off on this, a music note. I miss Triple H's old My Time music. I love that music.
It's a good song. It's a good song.
Great song. When he went to Motorhead, don't get me wrong, I like the Motorhead theme, but goddamn it, do I love the My Time theme. I thought that theme was great. So,
I like all those themes. I don't think he's had a bad one.
Yeah, I also thought it was funny that the only title that wasn't on the line really was a woman's title because Stephanie McMahon held it at this time.
That's right. She had it for like 6 months, and where they finally acknowledged it, she went the longest time just carrying it to the ring. And then I think it was Foley doing his commission thing was finally like, hey, you know, it's a funny thing. You're the women's champion, and you haven't defended that title in 3 months. You're going to defend it tonight, or I'm going to strip you of it. And she tried to protest. It's like, no, we have rules. You need to defend the damn title. And I think she ended up having a series of really bad matches with Lita. But yeah, like, and then and then eventually had a few matches with Trish, but which were not the greatest matches. But yeah, you forget because there was literally just no women's roster pretty much to speak of wrestling wise. You know, it was like Lita, Chyna, Trish, who wasn't even a wrestler at this point, she was just a valet, and like Terry Runnels, and there was like nobody else. Yeah, that was like nobody. So Ivory, I mean, Ivory would come up in a little bit with RTC, but that was about it. That was like the entire roster.
Hey, come on now. At Insurrection, the next pay-per-view, there was a very hotly contested arm wrestling match between the Cat and Terry Reynolds that lasted like 45 seconds.
And don't forget, arm wrestling this Monday on Raw.
I'm sure the arm wrestling match ended up with both of them stripping down to their underwear for some reason. If we haven't watched that
Lashley
show.
and Omos? I mean, that's what you're into, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was into.
But just speaking on the women's wrestling, so there's no women's match at Backlash. There's only an arm wrestling match at the next pay-per-view. Then we go into Judgment Day. Is there a women's match? Let me look.
I don't think so.
Not.
I don't even think there was one at SummerSlam. I literally think the first one she had was like on a random Raw, like for the title.
It was a SummerSlam match, but it was like it was a Cat and Terry Reynolds. I'm pretty sure it was something to do with them. It was.
There is no women's match at King of the Ring, which is the following pay-per-view.
Chyna and Eddie Guerrero were in a mixed tag match, so sort of, but not really.
But they had no straight-up women's match at Fully Loaded.
None at SummerSlam.
Yeah, we go to SummerSlam. Yeah, none.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about the invasion.
We have the Cat versus Terry in a stink face match.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was at
SummerSlam. That's the first like women's match since WrestleMania in the year 2000.
Why do I not even see that listed on here? They must have completely skipped it over on Wikipedia. Oh my god! Match number 8.
Yeah, match number 8.
Right before the 3-way where Kurt Angle got his brains knocked out with the pedigree on the table.
Oh yeah. He was meant to get kayfabe concussed. He actually got concussed.
He got real concussed. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah,
it's interesting with what I reckon. I'll put it to you like you know, we can talk about it before when it comes up, you know, close to the time. But like maybe we go and watch an Insurrection pay-per-view when they're about to do the WWE about to do the stadium show in Wales. You go, oh cool, we'll watch a UK thing. Let's see what they've done. They're never really like that great, but there has been great matches on some of them. So
you can watch that one or SummerSlam '92.
We could. That's not be a bit better. But yeah,
didn't they end up doing some random Australian shows as well, like some random Down Under show or something, like around this time, like 2000, 2001 or something? Like it was called something like that.
2002, they had it was a thing in Melbourne called the Global. I think it was a Global Warning.
Like the Global Tour or something like that.
I was there. I was at the back.
Okay.
And then like in 2018, they did a show, the big stadium thing in Melbourne as well, and I was there for that too. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they've never done like a major pay per view there, but maybe one day. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what this Wales thing is.
Holy shit! That 2002 show you went to was at a stadium with 56,000 people at it. Holy shit!
Man, it was like it was
Wow.
people there.
Okay, well, there was no live commentary. Michael Cole and Taz recorded it live from Connecticut, just watching the feed. Wow. Okay.
For the DVD. And then like Taz was really funny on the commentary too. He just acted like he had no idea about Australia. He was like, he goes, "What the hell?"
I remember seeing. Yeah, I remember seeing that DVD floating around. I never actually bought it, and this was around the time I owned like every WWE DVD like imaginable from like 2000 to 2005 or something. And yeah, I never even bought that one, but I always thought the main event looked interesting because it was Rock, Triple H, and Brock Lesnar in a three-way. I was like, that's interesting. I was like, that's something.
But
yeah.
Also on that actual like DVD thing, I noticed like they got in the bonus things, but they cut out a bunch of matches which was fun. Like Kurt Angle had a good match with Test.
Okay.
And then like a couple others as well.
Mark Henry and Randy Orton defeated Deacon Batista and Reverend Devon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something.
Huh. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
Oh, there was a title change on the show too.
Yeah. Yeah. I vaguely remember that was like Jericho versus Edge, and then all the crowd were calling Jericho a wanker, and he got on the microphone and goes, "I don't even know what a wanker is."
So what Jacob? Where do we go from here? What are we talking? Or me being on this podcast depending on what we're talking about. If we're talking about current stuff, I'm probably not going to be involved. If we do something retro or some kind of specific topic, I'll be involved. But if you guys are going to talk about current AEW, I don't have cable, so I don't watch it. Or current, WWE, I don't watch it. But where are we going?
I don't talk to my kids, so
Yeah.
Well, it has been a while since we've talked to AEW on the show, so I think maybe next week we hit on AEW a little bit. But as always, we just kind of play it by ear. We didn't decide on this until like 3 days ago. So, as far as what's next, I don't know. I'm not Goldberg, so I don't have it all.
I still say we do our fan. I still say we do the fantasy backlash.
Fantasy backlash, kind of like we did WrestleMania.
Hell yeah!
I could talk about that I can talk about that hardcore title match. Hell yeah! I could definitely do that.
Just don't read Rhino with the hardcore title.
All right. I mean, I'm on board. Same rules as WrestleMania, but instead of 10 matches, I think we can limit it to 8. Since it's
8 or 9. 8 or 9.
8 or
9. 8 or 9. You can decide 8 or 9. So, this one.
So each one had to be in the position that they were on the actual show. Is that the rule?
Only position is do opener and do a finisher that was an opener and a main event. That's your specifics. Otherwise, play fun with it. Don't reuse a title. Don't reuse a person. So if you got Raven and Rhino, obviously you can't do another.
You can't use a Raven and Rhino. Okay.
You can't do another hardcore title.
Okay, fair enough. Can I participate in that? I didn't participate in the WrestleMania one. I'd like to participate in this one. Of course. That'd be fun.
Sure.
All right,
there's enough backlashes. I just saw on Peacock.
Dude, I legit for the second match might use the Dean Malenko Scotty 2 Hottie from this one. Just to let you know. I might legitimately use it.
As long as you don't have another light heavyweight title match, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be your second match. Like the only things we said, like your opener had to be an opener. Your main event had to be a main event.
Had to be a main event. You can't reuse the same titles. You can't reuse the same titles or reuse the same people. Right. I got it.
Yeah, but your Dean and Scotty can do whatever you want. That could be your second to last. You can do whatever you want with that.
Sweet. Awesome. Let's do it, man. I already know my 2 main ones. They're from the same damn show. My main event, my semi-main event.
My main event might be the same as my WrestleMania main event.
Ooh, should we put another rule in effect where you can only use the same Mania once? Or the same Backlash once?
That'd be hard.
Ooh, that would be interesting because then you'd have to really stretch. Yeah, because I was going to use 2 matches from one particular Backlash.
That's what I'm saying. That way you can't be like, all right, here's 3 of them from 2009, or
okay. How about
I kind of like it.
How many backlashes have there been? 17 or
I was just on
15.
Peacock. Yeah, hold on.
It's like 17 seasons, the dumb seasons with stupid Peacock.
Which
It's not
is just
seasons.
episodes. Yeah. So
I feel,
Yeah,
I feel, I
it's
feel,
just-
I think after like there was a period of time where they hadn't had it
16.
for about 5 years. Yeah, 16, and then like yeah.
If we include WrestleMania Backlash.
yeah, of course. If Backlash is in the name, including stupid ass
I don't know,
WrestleMania Backlash.
I can't wait for WrestleMania Money in the Bank.
So there is 16, as you said. You said it already, but sorry.
Yeah.
16. Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right, so yeah, why don't we make that a rule too, just to mix it up? So you can only use a match from each show.
I mean, we're only
So-
looking for 8 matches, so you can do it. Like, you have half of them to choose from, basically.
Yeah, so I'll have to decide
or to choose from all
of the
them,
one.
but you can only use
I'll have
half.
to decide which of those 2 matches from that one show I want to use. Do I want to use the main
which one's
event
more
or the other
important?
one? Or the other one? Yeah, which one's more
All right,
important to the
so
show?
that's everyone. I think gets
All
it.
right.
Yeah. Richie, do you get it?
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you
And your
mean?
pre-show match has to be a pre-show match.
Oh yeah, okay, I fucked up there. Yeah.
Make sure your pre-show
Wow.
kickoff was on the pre-show
Yeah,
kickoff.
Can I
So,
just
yeah.
can I
Or
just say
Sunday Night Heat.
my Backlash didn't have a pre-show match and just had video packages?
I mean,
this one-
technically skip it. I don't care.
I mean, this one didn't have any
A pre-show.
At least
Yeah.
according to Wikipedia, like it didn't have any Sunday Night Heat
Almost
matches
like
or
don't
anything.
know.
So
I mean, I almost don't know the point of a because I feel like people are going to buy the show have already decided they're going to buy the show. I don't know if you.
I think rarely will a pre-show really make you go, now I'm in. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I used to love Sunday Night Heat back in the day because it was always the first glance of the arena that I
Yeah.
enjoyed. Of being like, oh, what's the arena look like, and then it's
So
not
the
being
first-
Sunday Heat or-
So the first Backlash was Backlash 99, so that's where it starts,
Yeah.
just for your info.
Mhm.
Backlash 99, all the way up to recently 16 shows. So there you go. So
The only
they're
thing I
all
remember-
in contention.
The only thing
Okay.
I remember from Backlash 99, I'm pretty sure, is Mankind and Big Show have a boiler room match.
Ooh, I might
Well,
do that.
and Rock and Stone Cold had a rematch, like a some kind of gimmicky I Quit or something.
Yeah.
The way it was the
I
one
might-
where
I might do that.
Stone Cold stunned Rock while he was holding the camera and cutting the promo
No,
on
that's
top
right.
of the
That's
table.
right. That's a great kind
Remember that?
studies.
It's good stuff. Yeah. Oh shit! He goes, oh shit, and then he stuns him on the table while he's holding the camera. Like he turns around with the camera, and Stone Cold's right there with the middle fingers and flicks off the camera and then stuns him on top of the table. It's a
Yeah.
great spot. Yeah. So that's a good. That was a good main event. So that could be in contention for one of the main events. That was a good one. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we'll have to decide which stuff is more important. But yeah, I know what I'm using for 2001. I might be in the same boat as Richie on that one. It's one of my favorite matches ever.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite matches ever. I love that fucking match. I've watched that match like 100 damn times. I love that match. So yeah.
Yeah.
all right. So
Anyways,
before we sign
done.
off, just like we did for WrestleMania, out of 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this Backlash? Jordan, we'll start with you.
I'd say a solid 7.5. Like, I don't hate anything. Maybe, like you said, the IC title finish, but the match is really good. So I don't know, maybe, but even the filler is not bad filler in my opinion. Maybe because I'm separated from it. Maybe if I saw it live at the time, maybe I would have felt more that it was filler. But I'd say it's a pretty. You can get through it. I think pretty nicely. So 7.5.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, I might go a bit higher. I'll say 8. Yeah, there's nothing like sort of offensive about the filler. Like you could argue that like the APA and Boss Man and Buchanan match like should be in the card, but it wasn't a terrible match. Just had no heat. So but yeah, it was a fun pay per view. And yeah, I'm glad we reviewed it. So I'd say a solid 8.
Hey, real quick, guys. Who's choosing the zombie lumberjack match from last year for your back?
Damien Priest.
All of us, or which one?
I can almost guarantee I haven't really seen any of the recent backlashes, so I will have nothing post 2009 at all. I can almost guarantee that.
It looks good on paper, man. Look at the last things. There's still good matches, even if the build up or the stuff around it's shitty. Like there's some good stuff.
I'll have to read some reviews.
2009 elitist.
I'm not watching the whole damn show, but I'll read some reviews and see if I want to pluck anything. We'll see.
Well,
see.
the logic I always use, I just look at the match listings and go, because I'd say in my perfect Backlash, the matches can be booked differently too. Is the logic I use. I go for matches more than maybe the actual execution of the match.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and like the Damian Priest and Miz thing is, I don't even know if I can consider it a match. It's an ad for Batista's
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. Yeah.
Which is also mediocre.
Which is a bad movie. But hey, it got favorite movie at the end.
All right, what score do you give it, Austin?
8 out of 10. I'm with Richie. 8 out of 10 because even the look, I would say, like I was talking about in the chat, I only think there's one dud on the show. I think the APA Bossman and Buchanan was like a Raw match that you would see on a Raw or something. Like it was the only dud, just because they decided to wrestle instead of brawl, which they should have just had a false count anywhere brawl or something stupid, whatever, or some backstage fight. They should have just had like a barroom brawl at a bar. You know what I mean? And it would have been fine. So, anyways. But even the stuff like in the mid card, I thought was at least most of the stuff was at least solid to really good. I thought Dean Malenko and Scotty Tuhati, like we said, was really good. The opener was fun. TNA and the Dudleys was a match you'd see, but they still executed it very well. And then the Trish stuff was entertaining. SA and Eddie flew all over the place and had a fun little sprint of an 8-minute match. Benoit Jericho was good, hence the finish, or besides the finish. Rock vs. Triple H, it was an overbooked, main event that they had a lot back then, but at least this one, the crowd was really into it. It had really good stuff, and like I said, the baby faces went over, sent everybody home happy, so it ended on a really high note. So even if it was overbooked and got silly, it got over with the crowd. It was really fun to watch, and it was still entertaining. So I think it's a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's one of the better ones, better kind of old school shows, like at least top to bottom, as far as most of the matches being at least entertaining and fun.
All right, I think I'm going the lowest out of all of us. I'm going 7 out of 10, so not too far behind. I think the two first two matches are really good. I think it's a solid tag team opener. I think, like I said, I think Scotty Tuhati and Dean Malenko is my favorite match on this card. And then those final three matches were all really good. And like Austin said, the crowd went home happy and overbooked, but it worked because the crowd was really into it, and I think the crowd was into the whole show. Like it's not like nowadays where the crowd, like, they get out of it for certain matches and like, oh, okay, now we're back into it. Like they were into pretty much the entire show. But just that middle, it's for me personally, it fell a little flat. But there were entertaining moments, but like it was like I was in and out for that middle portion of the show. So yeah, I'll go 7. But still a good show, and one that if you were to watch it, like, yeah, you could have a good time with it. So.
All right.
Cool.
Fantasy Backlash cards next time, like WrestleMania. I like it. Well, we can do that, and then we'll save it and put it in the back pocket again until we get to SummerSlam, because SummerSlam there's a lot to choose from. Obviously, a lot of big stuff. So that would be a fun one to fantasy book. I mean, literally, Richie, you can do, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog, whatever you can do. Bret Hart matches, you can do, whatever, like stuff from the Attitude Era, stuff recently. Good stuff. So we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, I like the idea of doing this fantasy thing every now and then. I like the rules. Yeah, you got to restrict me from using Backlash 2004 too much, because I do like that one. But yeah, I like it. I'll have to make a tough decision.
If only we had if we had like a few weeks left to Backlash, if we did 1 week where we did the fantasy booking, and then just before Backlash you did Backlash 2004, that'd be kind of.
I'd be down to review that whole show, because I think that show is awesome. Like that again. That show has some filler, but like the stuff that's good is really, really good on that show. Like really good. So yeah, especially for a solo, when they were doing the solo, brand pay-per-views. It was just a Raw pay-per-view. When they were just doing the separate Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views, that's one of the better ones. So yeah, I would say I'd be down to do that, but that's up to y'all. So I don't really want to get overloaded on Backlash, but yeah, that's fine. All right, man.
Yeah, so join us next week and see what made the cut for our Fantasy Dream Backlash cards. And be sure to just check out everything that everyone here is doing. because it's all really good stuff. Back on this channel tomorrow night, I believe, is the sports championship for tier ranker fights. Austin will be there. Richie, are you on that one? Because you're just like on
I'm
everything.
actually not. I'm actually, no, one of the rare ones I'm not on.
Oh, okay.
I might be asked to pitch in. You never know.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can check Austin out back on Henry Confidential's channel, back with Let's Rank stuff. I believe they just did Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, we
so
just
I
did Paul
need to
Thomas
check that
Anderson
one out.
after a brief sort of personal life hiatus for Henry, but we're back into it. We're doing We did Paul Thomas Anderson this past Wednesday, so you can check that out. And this next week, we're a little late on the 420 gimmick because we already had PTA planned, but we're going to do sort of a 420 theme show. We're doing another one of our versus filmography or versus franchises, so we're going to be ranking all of them together. Friday versus Harold and Kumar. All together.
Okay.
So all 3 Friday films versus the 3 Harold and Kumars, and we will do a mega ranking of all those together.
First
That's what we do. We like
Fridays,
doing the versus thing. It's fun.
all of the Harold and Kumars. The last 2 Fridays done.
I believe they
I
go
might
more
be.
in depth than that, though.
Yeah, we go a little more in depth than that. It's not a 30-second show. We actually talk about movies. Although it's not a YouTube short, 30 seconds of TikTok video. We don't do a TikTok ranking. No, we actually do a whole show. But yeah, so that'll be next week, and we'll have some fun with that. And we're planning on we're gonna do some fluffy stuff building up to Kubrick, because we're going to do Kubrick in a couple weeks, but we're going to do some fluffy stuff around it, building up to it. So, because that's a serious one, we don't want to go from PTA directly to Kubrick. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do some Kevin Smith stuff, and after Kubrick, we'll blow it off with some Texas Chainsaw. So, some fluffy stuff around it. But yeah.
Yeah, and Jordan's got his stuff, his channels, the Pierce Co. and the Pierce Wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Did I finally get the channel names right?
Kinda. There's no the in the Pierce Wrestling, but I mean you were pretty much there. It's the Pierce Co. and Pierce Wrestling.
It's the Pierce Wrestling channel. Like, I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
it's Pierce Wrestling channel. I'm gonna say
But
it's
at
the
Pierce Wrestling on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, like it sounds better.
No, I understand why you
Don't
said
make fun of
it.
the way I
wasn't
talk,
arguing you.
Jordan.
No, I wasn't.
Tell him, Mom.
What? We have to say mom.
What? You didn't know?
I did not know.
Why don't you love me, brother?
Why aren't I invited over for dinner?
Oh well, I guess for the longest time you thought I lived in Washington, D.C.
I don't know. Where do you live again?
Washington State.
Where's that?
Do you know like where the Pacific Ocean is?
I don't know. We'll talk off air.
Do you know where the other side of the country is?
Yeah.
It's there. Have you
Then
never
where's-
looked at a Have you never looked at the map of the United States before?
All right, Jacob, you run this channel. Pull up a map.
I will, but you know what? Like you said, we'll do this off air. So you know what,
Fine.
guys, keep